Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Perth Sevens, the opening match, New Zealand versus Kenya. What will be, I think, a relatively high-scoring game. Perth Sevens, at the moment, the temperature isn't too bad, but it is expected to rise as the competition does rise in the drama as well. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for New Zealand, it is now Rohi McGarvey Black, Regan Ware, Tony Nashu, Dylan Collier, Frank Vainuku, also Lewis Ormond and Andrew Newstub. So still a nice mix for New Zealand of that experience, alongside a couple of the newer names scattered in there as well. For the Kenyans, Kevin Waikesa will be one of the 7 starters. Samuel Azati. Also, they have got there Maitsa, Abukusi, Anthony Mboya, Angio, and then Patrick Odonga Okongo, who can be the X factor for this Kenyan side when he is in form. Hopefully that is exactly what we're going to see throughout this Perth competition. It is the third leg for the men's last competition in Cape Town. We saw the South Africans, the home side, get the job done. For the women, it was New Zealand. So it's going to be very interesting to see who can win this one. In Perth, Australia are considered as the favourite for the women. In the men's department, Fiji are the favourites to go on and win the competition, just like they did in the Dubai Sevens for the opening round. But do let me know, of course, your score predictions for this matchup. We have got Nov Mum in the chat and said hello, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Plenty of Sevens action throughout this weekend, so be sure to keep popping in. And also the URC will be returning. We've got a South African derby that we'll be covering with the Lions versus the Bulls, as well as Stormers when they do take on Leinster. So a big game there as well. But the current standings for the women's side of things, New Zealand are at the top of the bunch on 38 points. Australia in second on 34. They are just showing the groups that are taking place for the women's side of things. In this group, it is New Zealand, Kenya, Fiji, and Uruguay. So Fiji, they are going to be playing Uruguay in the next game. It should be, I would say, the easiest game. It was actually their opening contest in the last competition, and they won it 70 points to 7. The draw are playing RFCLA in about 2 minutes. That is correct. And yeah, it should be an interesting game. Of course, the pre-season, just to give everyone a bit of a crack there at the start. Hi Hamish, says Levi, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah, the first Sevens of 2025. The last league was about a month and a half ago, which feels like an eternity. I mean, I'm just finding it tough lately, says Justin Reed. They are. Unfortunately, New Zealand haven't found their best form in the Sevens for the first 2 leagues. But the good news is, I feel like for some reason, when it's in Perth, New Zealand normally do relatively well. Now, they're the third favourites for the Perth Sevens. It's actually Fiji first, Argentina second, then New Zealand as the third most likely to win. But yeah, very tough couple groups for this competition. Hi all, and Hamish says Robert V, welcome in. Yeah, they've gone with a lot of experience as this opening contest here for New Zealand, so it makes you wonder whether or not, first of all, they are definitely not underestimating what Kenya can do, but at the same time, they just want to make sure that they don't let an early win slip through their fingers. Back to 3 groups rather than the 4, which means the top 2 go through and then the 2 best third place teams. We have got, yeah, hi all from Robert as well. But I should also mention, when it comes to these 2 sides, Kenya have had a couple good victories, or at least had a couple really strong performances up against New Zealand as of late. They're ranked 9th at the moment. New Zealand are 6th. This opening contest taking place in 32-degree heat. Now, for the weather overall in Perth, it's supposed to get warm in 2 days' time, but it's already past 30 degrees today, which means that it could be closer to 40 for the next match, or the next day of the Sevens. Off the bench for New Zealand, they've got Rush, Matthias, Mathis, I should say, Cody Vai, Sione Molia, and also Maka is there. Onyala off the bench for the Kenyans. And a few newer names here for Kenya as well, but we are very close to the kickoff. Both of the sides just making their way out of the tunnel. And morning 3 a.m. here, Madstorm here, can't sleep. Who do you think will win this? Well, New Zealand are heavy favourites to win this match in particular. But Kenya, it looks like there's probably more Kenyan supporters in the stands than New Zealand supporters at the moment. And Ollie Mathis says Justin in there as well. Yeah, he could be a bit of a super sub off the bench. Now we are ready to go for this matchup. The Kenyans They want to cause an upset right from the get-go and start their competition on a high. It would put New Zealand on the back foot from whistle number 1. AJ Jacobs, of course, not having his first refereeing job. 124 matches, has some freak skills, says Justin. Yeah, it's exactly the type of player that New Zealand need off their bench. Someone who can bring that X factor and just help them finish a game, because it's something that we've seen them struggle with. To be fair, though, in the last couple of leagues, they've struggled to start and finish, and just everything in between went wrong for New Zealand. Let's see if they can get it right now. But Kenya will be kicking off this one, going from right to left in Perth. Doesn't look like there's a huge amount of people in attendance as of right now, but hopefully that will change. Kenya wrestled into touch after retaining their own kickoff, and it looks like New Zealand will take this one quickly. Going off to the right-hand side now. Like I said, a lot of experience in the lineup. Nice step from Frank. He's gone straight through. Oh, brilliant fend from the youngster, Frank Vainuku. And he will now get the early try. One thing, I have 3 screens. Can watch the Sevens on, the draw match, and another. And this on my main screen says Novmum. Sorry for asking how many teams are in this comp. So 12 for New Zealand, for the men, and 12 for the women as well. Now, can be a little bit confusing because we actually saw, I believe it was 16 teams in Cape Town. Or we at least saw, it wasn't 16 teams, it was still 12, but a different amount of teams per pool. In this competition, it is 3 pools of 4. So it got slightly modified. A shortened version of the comp in Cape Town worked beautifully for the home side, South Africa. Got their first Sevens win for a leg in quite some time, but that kick has gone over for New Zealand as well, making the score now 7-0 after the try of Frank Vainuku. And now Rohi Makavi Black to get us back underway once again. Going to be kicked off long and does bounce into touch, so decent kickoff for New Zealand. Kenya now have got themselves the line-out throw. New Zealand be given their mark very early from AJ Jacobs, of course, hugely experienced referee, so he will not take any back chat from the players. Now Kenya ready to try and throw this one in. And it's nicely taken by Oro. Under quite a bit of pressure in the process, and it's actually been stolen back by New Zealand now. Now Roy Makavi Black back across to the right-hand side. Tony Nashu tries to skip pass, has gone over the head of Regan Ware. Well cleaned up by Vainuku. New Zealand back towards the halfway line now. They did just have that ball about 15 metres out from Kenya's line. Really had to retreat, but now starting to get it set. Dylan Collier with the ball on the inside. That was a tackle without the ball on Lewis Orman, but it looks like it's going to benefit Kenya, because if this ball sits up nicely, he's gone with the pass through the legs, picked up by Kenya here. Running straight at Dylan Collier. A great attacking chance here for the Kenyans as they get wrestled towards the touchline, and his foot was in touch. So it will now be the line out. Good thing. I know I read that one about the 3 screens. Yeah, the preseason of Super Rugby now underway. We get to see the Waratahs in action a little bit later on tonight, I believe, or it might actually be tomorrow. Their game is. And then next week we get to see a few of the derbies taking place as well. Now line out throw. Just showing there New Zealand placed 9th last season in Perth. Their worst performance in 19 appearances in Australia. Will the Sevens ever get as strong as Rugby Union? It depends on how you look at it. Because I would say that in terms of competitiveness, the lower ranked sides have a lot more chance of beating the top teams in Sevens than they do in Union. But then, I guess, what is the equivalent of Sevens being the same as Rugby Union? Because at the end of the day, these guys play international rugby, each and every week when they're in the Sevens format, which, there isn't like leagues and whatnot. Well, at least not at the highest level. So I don't know, maybe if there was like a Super Rugby Sevens or a URC Sevens, maybe we would see it continue to grow. But I don't know of too many well broadcast leagues around the world for Sevens. So maybe that's something that in the future might eventually happen. I know that they have competitions in Fiji and whatnot for the regions. Nice offloading from New Zealand. And a knock on there from Regan Ware. Gives a scrum now to Kenya. New Zealand finishing 9th in their last outing in Perth. That would mean for them not to qualify this time, they would have to be outside of the top 2, and they would also have to be one of the third place teams or the only third place team to miss out. Now, of course, if they were to lose to Uruguay or lose to Fiji, that would certainly hurt their chances of advancing. But now Samuel Azati about to feed the ball into the scrum. 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Curry in the lineup for this match. He is not, no. Also not off the bench for the Kiwis here. They have still got a lot of other experienced heads out there. Dylan Collier, for one, is still there. Regan Weir. Now Kenya with the possession on the halfway line. Oro is it back now. Azati firing it off to the right. This is where Kenya need a little bit of possession and just a bit of time. Putting passes together. It's going to go out wide to Patrick Odongo Kongo. Back across to the left-hand side. Kenya made a huge amount of metres as of yet. But if they can get one pass right, that was, I think they've called it backwards. It's an interesting one. Tackled on the halfway line. Back across to the right-hand side. That's a good piercing run from Kenya. And right through is Oro. And he will score the try between the sticks. And Kenya now straight back into this game. Well done, Kenya, says Novmum. It looks way faster than Union. I tried to get into it. I just don't know why I can't like it as much as Rugby Union, says Dennis. I think some people, in terms of sevens, the best comparison I can think of is T20 cricket compared to test matches, right? And some people really despise T20 cricket because of how fast it is. They say that it's not as, not as thought out, and I guess in terms of tactically, maybe some would argue you don't get that same build-up. So I think that's probably the best comparison for Rugby Sevens and Rugby Union. Some people don't like the fact that a game's over in 15 minutes. They prefer when a side has to really grind it out and try and, work an opposition out for 25 minutes. Can't wait to see Michaela, a note break, playing, says Novmum. Are you doing a Super Rugby Pacific preseason live stream? Not too sure yet. That's a great run from Kenya, although just dropping the ball right on the verge of being able to score. New Zealand back in position. Just out from their own line. Now, nice break forward from Tonina Shu. Now back across to the right-hand side. Roy McGarvey Black starting that back line. And a little bit of a fumble out wide from Dylan Collier. Good defence so far from Kenya here. Vainuku goes back across to the left-hand side. Taliaseko, Kenya in there as well. But yeah, we will be away for the Super Rugby streams next week, unfortunately. So it does mean that we won't be able to cover those ones on the channel unless I get someone to fill in as well. Now, nice tackle low on Brady Rush yet again. And the penalty goes the way of Kenya. Chance here. And this one is running long at the moment in terms of this halftime break. Both sides are looking fatigued. Kenya going to kick this one to the corner, or at least 22 metres out from the line here. And have another chance, but great work over the ball by Azati. Kenya now another chance at 6 a.m. in Kenya. We are here, says Michael. So it is greatly appreciated you guys tuning in for this early morning start. Next game for Kenya is taking place at around, I believe it would be about 10 a.m. Kenyan time, and that is going to be up against Fiji. That is a massive game. And I would highly not recommend missing that one because both of those sides can be extremely competitive and it's always fast-paced. Now New Zealand back in position after Kenya unable to retain their line out. Nice break and run forward from Regan Weir. We're currently a minute and a half past the halftime siren. Well done, Kenya, says Remgis. Yeah, they're keeping it close at the moment, which is all they have to do because New Zealand in their last few legs have really struggled as the matches wear on. And this will definitely test out both sides' gas tanks early. We're already 2 minutes past the halftime break and we're playing in about 32-degree heat. So teams will fatigue. A lot of hands on hips already from both sides. Who's going to be able to find this next gap? I'm surprised neither side have just decided to kick this ball into touch, but I guess They want to make the absolute most of it while they've got possession. Just wonder how much of an impact will that have on the later stages of the competition for these two sides. Now going back across to the left-hand side, Lewis Ormond, that was almost one of his first touches of the match. Earlier on when he almost got it, he was tackled off the ball. Now rush with the offload. Out wide to Tony Nashu. He's going to be tackled well, sitting 22 metres out from the line, and now we're 3 minutes past the half-time siren. Going back to the right-hand side. Sell the dummy from, it was Roy McCarvey Black. Regan Weir up the middle, and he will score the last-minute try in the first half. Are you doing tomorrow's Super Rugby Pacific preseason game? We are not, no. That is the Warriors, the Waratahs. They've got their game, but more than likely I won't be available to do that one. I have got cricket during the day, and then also Sevens streams are going to be happening. The quarterfinals of the Sevens tomorrow night, so we will be covering those. Go Kenya. See, here's Nicholas there. I'm sure a rugby union could learn a bit from Sevens, might speed up our union game a bit. See, here's Dennis. And yeah, I think a little bit similar to what you said earlier on. Some people don't actually, it sounds weird, but they don't like when it's this fast paced, like in rugby union. So like the 30-second shot clocks and whatnot that are coming in for union now will help speed it up a little bit. But some people like the slower, methodical kind of pace that rugby union brings. And rugby union can be extremely fast as well, depending on who is playing. And also at league level, you seem to see it a little bit more. International, you start to find your rhythm. And hi Hamish, 5:11 a.m. by us in South Africa. Looking forward to the Sevens today, says Jan Lu. Yeah, there's plenty taking place for the Perth Sevens. Hot day as well, so I'm sure there'll be quite a few drop balls in the later stage of the day, but also some very fatigued defenders, leaving plenty of gaps. Now, second half, just around the corner. Are you in Christchurch or Dunedin? Neither of them. Halfway in between. So about 2.5 hours from either. You're doing Super Rugby Fantasy? I am not. No, I'm terrible at predictions, as you guys know. So all that would tell me is however bad I am at it. You must enjoy the Sevens today, mate. Says Jan Lebrand. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a good day of the Sevens. We've got 6 live streams that we are doing on the channel for these Sevens. The next one is Fiji versus Uruguay, which is actually kicking off in only around 10 minutes time. We are going to be covering that one on the channel as well. And it's always nice with the Sevens. You get a few little breaks in between, so I'll probably end up cooking tea between the two matches in terms of after Fiji, Uruguay. I hope the Highlanders make the top 6, but I don't see it, says PSG. It's going to be a tough one. Like Super Rugby this year, I think will be a little bit more competitive. But, you know, that's a good thing. People are still waiting to see what the Crusaders can do for this year. Can you tell me from your point of view, top 5 Sevens teams? So I would say top 5 teams, not just based off this competition, because, I mean, we've seen 2 weeks so far, and Spain are actually sitting second in the overall standings. But I would say the top 5 for me from the last few years would be Fiji, Argentina, New Zealand, South Africa, and France, I would probably say, as my top 5. That sounds harsh on Australia, but, you know, they haven't been consistent, unfortunately. And some of those other sides I've listed also haven't really had that much consistency, but I'd probably go those 5 just for now anyway. Because France have been one of those sides that have gone under the radar as well for quite some time. And now, after that Olympic win, they are starting to get a little bit more credit. That looked a bit high from Lewis Ormond. Now, I believe the Kenyan player was falling into it, but that does not help in terms of if there was head contact. Can you predict Super Rugby top 6? I will just miss out, says PSG. We'll probably end up doing some sort of video a little bit closer in terms of our overall standings prediction or something along those lines, because I honestly haven't thought a huge amount of it just yet. So he's dipping down. It's not that bad from Lewis Ormond. The Kenyan player was almost on his knees at the time that he got hit. Where to watch, please? Depends on whereabouts you are in the world, but your best option would be to look at the World Rugby Sevens website, and it will have the list of where to watch depending on where you are in the world. I think Crusaders top 3. That's optimistic. Right, it honestly doesn't look that bad, that Lewis Ormond tackle. It could have been worse, definitely if Okongo was standing upright. I don't think Crusaders will win the title, but at least they will make it to the quarterfinals. It's a low degree of danger. It's a penalty only. That's a pretty good decision. I think Ormond, when he heard there was foul play, he was a bit nervous that he was going to end up getting sent to the bin. But I think he should be pretty happy with just the penalty against him. Score is still sitting 14 points to 7. Anything can happen in a game of sevens, though. You only really need 30 seconds to completely change a game. Kenya, 39% of their tries have come from the set piece this year. And thanks, mate, trying to like this type of game power going off on here. If it goes, thanks for the info, Dennis, no worries at all. But yeah, every once in a while in sevens, you get like an awesome game that makes, if you've seen, let's say, 5 games that have been a bit average, every once in a while you just get that back and forth one that puts you on the edge of your seat. Tell you what, that is a brilliant run from Okongo. He's got pure pace, and he will score the try for Kenya that gets them back into the contest. But yeah, every once in a while you get that special kind of game that is just 14 minutes of all-out action. The Highlanders will win the title for sure, says Levi. And Patrick Okongo, he's already scored 8 times throughout the Sevens 2025 series. And we got the big face from Talai Leva there. And just goes. Vainuku thought that he had him till he realised that he didn't. He almost didn't even get a hand to Odongo as he ran down the wing. It was Ormond almost getting a little bit dangerous with the way that he came in to try and stop that try being scored. But 14-14 between these two sides. And like I said, Kenya just had to be close in this game. And New Zealand in the last few, advancing in front of the kicker against Kenya. That is something you don't see too often in the world of sevens. It's something that happens pretty much every single game, but a lot of referees don't seem to call it. But the experienced Jakobs has said yes. So that is against, I believe, the man on the close side of the field. Now, new stub. Regan Ware goes across to Cody Vai, who has made his way onto the field. Now across to the left again here for New Zealand. Chance out wide. Tony Nashu brilliantly tackled by Kenya. New stub. The pick and go gets it off to Ormond. They will go to the right again here. New Zealand, Cody Vai, 3 steps, then offloads to Ormond. Tries to step himself, puts the hand in the face of the Kenyan defence. New stub. It's the long ball out to Tony Nashu. Gets through one. Now dragged down. New stub with the pick and go, and New Zealand score again. And go Kenya, we can do this, says Edwin, but this is going to be a tough kick, so this is not a guarantee that this one will be able to go over for New Zealand. It would certainly help them towards a victory, but if this one misses, Kenya are only a converted try away from taking the lead. And we also got to remember, with 3 groups, the top 2 sides go through to the quarterfinals. The third place teams have a chance of advancing as well. And I fully believe that Kenya, if they aren't in that top 2, they will be a third place team that do advance. As long as they keep games close up against New Zealand and Fiji, New Stub misses the kick. 3 minutes 20 remaining, still plenty of time to get the job done. Momentum has certainly been back and forth. It's actually gone try for try. New Zealand first, then Kenya, then back to New Zealand, then back to Kenya, and then New Zealand again. So if the trend continues, that means Kenya still have one more in them. That ball's knocked backwards. Now New Zealand in possession again. If they score now, it would almost be over, but there is still, like I mentioned, 3 minutes on the clock. Trying to go through now, Rui Makavi Black. It's going to be slapped back by Kenya. So that will make the line out, or at least it should be New Zealand's ball. Yep, it's going to be New Zealand's line out now. Decent bit of work from Kenya to be able to stop New Zealand from piercing that gap. Definitely with Naroi Makavi Black running on that 45-degree angle. Makes it difficult. These last couple minutes, this is where New Zealand, like I've mentioned, have struggled in a few of their past legs. And you might be late for your live stream because it starts at 4:20. Says Levi, that is true. So more than likely we'll end up starting that one just before the kickoff. Hello, says Joseph. Hello. Hope you are doing extremely well and you're excited for the Sevens to be back. It's been about 50 days since the last leg of Sevens in Cape Town. It has been thoroughly missed. But now it's going to be kicked forward. Kenya putting on the pressure. Cody Vi, and just a mistake by Kenya there, trying to make a tackle on a man who was grounded. Lack of discipline just in that moment. Need New Zealand to win with a 9.5 handicap, says Donkey Papuz. Tell you what, it might be tricky. I think if New Zealand, at the end of the full time, in terms of once we reach the 0 on the clock, I think New Zealand would almost consider kicking this one out. Definitely if they are only ahead by the 5 points, they won't want to take the risk of letting Kenya get back into the game, even if there's points differential on the line. We've got 1 minute 30 remaining, and New Zealand do have the possession, so I would say this is their last pure attacking chance. Like, they might be able to get one off a counter-attack, but I think this will be their last really big shot at scoring. A nicely claimed by New Zealand. Sitting about 40 metres out from their own line. Now Roy McGarvey-Black has a wide cut-out pass to the short side. Here comes Sione Molia. Couple missed tackles by Kenya. Allow New Zealand to get right up towards the 22-metre line. 70 seconds left. Collier goes across to the right-hand side. In fact, no, this time they're going left. Maka with the offload. Newstub with a brilliant pass as he was getting tackled. And Cody Vi scores the try. It should be the game. But can Kenya get that little bit closer? Cody Vi, that will be his 4th try of the circuit. An even better pass from Andrew Newstub as he was being tackled. Gets that pass away, and Vi just has to run it in and over the try line. New Zealand now, they have an opportunity to add some more points here. And Newstub has missed that one as well, so they've left 4 points out there. Yes, says Donkey. Although this game not over yet, 15 seconds remaining. Of course, in Sevens, it is extremely quick. Kenya will be receiving this ball, so don't get too excited just yet, but you're a long way towards it. Definitely with that kick from New Zealand, getting it about 10 metres out from Kenya's line, and they now have their own line out. Going to be a tricky spot on the field. And now line out chance here for Kenya. They have to try and get this one right. Their points differential currently sitting minus 10. Anything more than that, they will be very disappointed. Line out chance now for Kenya. Throwing it in. Loose ball. New Zealand pick it up and they will get another. Now takes them up to 29. The mana wave from the Roy McGarvey-Black as he scores it. Tell you what, this game, it was a lot closer than that scoreboard indicates. New Zealand, though, in the later stages of the match, they did a lot better. They were clinical. It's exactly what they're going to need to be up against Fiji when they play them tomorrow. Later on today, they will be facing Uruguay. Nonetheless, that is the end of this match. New Zealand will end up winning it 29 points to 14. But we are going on now to Uruguay versus Fiji, the very next game that is taking place. So I will see you all in a very short moment.